Did you guys see the roast of Donald Trump where they did a bit like that based on that Mari Madeline girl, the deaf comic or the deaf actress?
No.
On the roast of Donald Trump, they had a deaf actress come out and roast. And at first she was doing well. She had a translator doing his thing. But then eventually they pulled the translator off and Gilbert Gottfried came out to translate for her. And eventually he was sort of saying what she was trying to say with her sign language. But then, of course, it just went into a tangent about hooker fucking and killing kids and Donald Trump raping his siblings. It's
Christ.
Strong roast. Donald
Gottfried
Trump
is pretty rough. His voice is grating. Yeah, he's a very dirty comic.
He's as dirty as it gets.
Yeah.
Oh, I only see it. I'm more exposed to.
I remember him as the parrot from The Lion King.
Right. It's like
that wasn't him. What did he play? He did a cartoon.
He was Iago the parrot in Aladdin.
Aladdin, that's what it was. Yeah.
And there's that, and I feel like he's been in a couple other like non-dirty movies, and that's my exposure to him.
He's
filthy.
Duck.
Yeah,
he's like Danny from Full House, Bob Saget. Yeah.
He's got a part in, it's on Netflix, Bumping Mics with Dave Attell and Jeff Ross. The second night, Saturday night, he comes in. That's some great comedy right there for comedy fans. Bumping Mics on Netflix, night 2. He's in there with Bob Saget.
Did you guys watch the new Louis C.K. thing?
I like it.
No, not yet.
It's the new special.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. He starts and ends with his own controversy, and I thought he addressed it pretty well. Like he opens up like, "How you guys been doing? Anyone else create any global controversies? just me, huh? Yeah, no Al Jazeera articles on you, or calling you a rapist? Okay, or I'm messing it up, but it's something like that.
Yeah. He came out and he said, "How was everybody else's years? The last couple of years? Anybody else getting global amounts of trouble?" I think how he played it, which is genius. I wish he would have gotten further into it, though, Woody. I don't know if you had that feeling, too, because he teased it, and then he went into his regular material, probably to prove that he wasn't going to use that as a crutch. He still had good stuff he'd been working on. But then when he came back to it later in the set, I feel like it was too brief. He did 5 minutes on it, whereas I wanted to hear a half hour on the first week after that story leaked that he couldn't leave his apartment.
He should have had the front row covered in plastic like a Gallagher show.
That's a good bit. No, I guess I listened to him address his controversy, and I was watching it through the lens of crisis management instead of just a fan of comedy. Like how is he handling this? How is he getting himself out of this trouble or into more trouble and making it funny and just kind of winning people back over? Like I wanted to see a master manipulate a crowd. That was the part that I found interesting about it. He did a pretty good job. I do kind of wish it was longer, but I'm remembering a punchline to the joke was like, you know what? If you ask her if she can do it, and if you ask a girl if you can jerk off on her, and she says yes, double down, ask again. Make sure she really wants this. And it's like it's funny. I see where he's coming from. He's sort of owning his side of it. Like, but it could have been longer. It could have been deeper. It could have been.
That's what she said.
He should have gone with but Sarah Silverman, thank God for her. I jerked off on her and she came forward and said I was all in. And to her, I think she did. I think that's a real thing. Sarah Silverman was like, yeah, he jerked off on me, but you don't see me complaining.
Her? Yeah, I heard in front of her.
All right, I've got it.
Yeah, big difference.
Yes.
You can jerk off in front of me. And I mean, I won't like it, but I'll tolerate it. But if you jerk off on me, you're going to have to beat me up.
The only difference is prostate health.
Yeah, that is not. I'll tolerate it. Woody's beating off, and Kyle's like, oh.
I look at it like a bad snore.
Go again.
This is part and parcel of living in a tolerant society. I got to let him finish.
One of my favorite jokes from that special was, now everybody knows my kink. Everybody knows my thing. Barack Obama knows my thing. You can almost see Obama reading the newspaper like, oh, Louis C.K. masturbates in front of women. Wow, I wouldn't have suspected
what do you know?
That fella.
Yeah, that was. It was.
I like to beat up my wife. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job. That's right. Everyone knows his kink. And he kind of did this like, trust me, you don't want that. You don't want people to know. Imagine if people knew your kink. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that's not good.
Well, we know Danny's.
Exactly.
One of them. We know the one Danny chose to share.
I didn't specify who I was fantasizing about licking my asshole. I didn't clarify. You guys made some good suggestions. I didn't think, Woody, that the material, because I'm such a huge Louis C.K. fan. I've listened to all of his appearances, I think, on Opie and Anthony, watched all of his specials. I didn't think material-wise it was one of his even like top 5 specials. I love 2017, the one before it, and I didn't think it measured up to that.
Okay. I was, before you said 2017, I was like, name a comedian who got super big and then started doing new material every single year and didn't drop off. It's like your super big thing is your first 35 years of life experience. And then everyone after that is last year. We can't hang with that.
Yeah.
That's true. And if you think like, I know you're an O&A fan as well. If you think like Louis' comedy from like 2012 or whatever to now is like really raunchy and out there, he is just reprehensible in the funniest way on old O&A. Like he is outrageous on those shows. Like he wasn't like him, Jim Jeffries, all those guys, they weren't that famous yet. And so they would just, they said whatever they fucking wanted. And it's great. Yeah. I've been re-listening to more of that this week.
Does that exist now? Are like 2030s big stars on some show or podcast just killing it today?
Or stars in their 20s or 30s?
I meant
what are you
2030. This is the year 10 years from now. 2030's biggest star smashing it somewhere where they're not getting a ton of attention, like Louis C.K. did on O&A. Is that
maybe? Sure.
I think so. There are going to be more sources
They're
for
probably
entertainment.
making out with people on the streets and cucking female rappers and stuff like that.
I mean, if they're getting famous in Hollywood, they're probably raping.
Blood represent.